Hey, Stevie, welcome.
Hi, excited to be here.
We are excited to have you here to talk about the month of April in astrology. If this is your first time joining us, we are here with our go-to astrologer, Stevie Calista, who's here to guide us through April's biggest cosmic happenings, of which we've got a list here. Stevie, why don't we just dive in and let's just start at the very beginning.
Yeah, there's you guys. March was crazy, right? I'm sure everybody felt all the big waves of growth.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
And Mercury retrograde ends on April 7th. Is that right?
yeah, so we have Mercury goes direct on the 7th, so he's no longer retrograde, and Venus goes direct on the 13th. So we have some forward motion happening. But one of the biggest things to talk about is actually Neptune going into Aries. It's actually on the 30th of March, so right before we end the month, and he's going to be here till 2039. So long time. And everyone on the earth has never experienced Neptune in Aries.
Tell
Just
us about that. What does that feel like?
so for the last, I think around 14, 15 years, I don't know the exact number, Neptune's been in Pisces, and we can't talk about Aries until you understand what just happened. And Neptune in Pisces has been very dreamy. He's spiked spirituality. People have really connected to the oneness, to the love, to the compassion. And people have also really distracted themselves and become overwhelmed and confused often. That's Neptune and Aries. It's like we're swimming in the deep ocean. So when you go from the last sign of the zodiac of Pisces, water, into the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, and you cross over that 0 degree Aries point, this is the first degree in astrology. It's the birth.
Wow.
So we are all being rebirthed at the very end of March into something new. And Aries says, be brave, be bold, choose yourself, let's move forward. And essentially, what's going to happen is we are going to energetically rebirth ourselves. Like we are going to feel very different in our bodies. I imagine people will feel more intuitive. They'll have a better grip on their own energy frequency. And there'll be this movement of new art and creativity coming from the I am presence that we are, the individual self. And the word sovereignty is
Mhm.
really big with this one, like taking your power back and choosing your own energy and having boundaries. Aries is the best. I love Aries energy because it gives us permission to just choose what's best for us.
I love that. I was actually just saying this to my friends last night that I feel like now is the time to do things just because they feel good and to give yourself permission to do that coming out of all those like the list of responsibilities that we always have. And yes, doing that, of course we have to do that, but giving yourself just a little bit more room to just do the feels and the things that really light
Yeah.
you up. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, Aries teaches us to remember we're human and like we're messy and we're new at this a lot of the time, right? That's what I love about it. It's just permission to be the human and mess up and choose yourself and not people please and have boundaries, like just unapologetically. So I think that we're going to see that. And with any planet, there's a shadow, right? So
Yes.
like the shadow of this would be self-centered, like too much of the I am, little bit of a narcissistic energy. So
Well,
I don't know how that's going to play out, but it should be interesting.
for some of us, just being able to embed a little of that into our lives. It was funny, even yesterday when I was getting ready for this, I threw all the questions into a Word doc and they were wrong, like they were wrong planets, wrong dates. And I sent them over to Robin to look at. And she's like, Karen, I think that's a little off. So I was like, I blamed it on Mercury retrograde, of course. But then my typical thing would have been like, oh God, I can't believe I did that. I should have double checked. And then I stepped back and I said, you know what? It's okay. And for me, that's a big deal because I'm a
Oh
big
yeah.
eater upper of myselfer.
Yes.
And I think so. What you're saying is do a little bit of that. Be conscious of the fact that you are human, and that's what we're here to do, and it is okay.
Yeah, we're just here experiencing an I am and an
Yeah,
individual frequency. So like
totally.
it's a game. Just play it. See what happens.
I
Yeah.
love it. It's a
Yeah,
game.
have grace for yourself. That's really like speaking of March and April with the retrogrades, Venus and Mercury were in Aries too. Like this Aries Pisces combo is real loud these last couple of months. And so we've all been given this chance to back up and hang on a minute and be like, is that actually how you feel? Is that actually good for you? Is that actually what you want to say? And purify ourselves too of like stuff that's gotten in the way of us being who we are. That's why the 0 degree point of Aries that even both retrogrades danced over in March and April, have given us this moment, this pause to rebirth who we are. You can literally wake up and be like, I'm not that person anymore.
Oh,
That's so cool.
that is so cool.
Yeah.
We're never taught to think that way either. You know,
No.
always taught this accumulation of all of our paths and experiences. I love that thought. And it's just something for everybody to put on a little sticky note, even on their computer or on their phone, to remind themselves, because it is a good opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we have to?
So the 7th Mercury goes forward, the 13th Venus goes forward, right? And that means that the vibe of April will be, you've already been here, right? These planets have already danced over these degrees, but they went back. Now they're moving forward, which means this is about integration. This is the month where we start to see forward momentum because we haven't had it since last December. Everything has asked us to hermit and slow down, and highly recommend the Astro 2025 podcast too, because that will be very helpful for you to understand the vibe of the whole year. Because this is a really big astrological year for us, you guys. We're like dancing in completely new territory. But in April, we get this taste of, okay, all right, we're going to start moving forward. Some clarity is coming because I guarantee most of you guys haven't really been able to find a lot of clarity right now. And we have a very powerful full moon on the 13th, the same day that Venus moves forward. And it's conjunct Chiron and square Mars. And so the significance of this full moon has everything to do with you being tested. Like, oh yeah, you thought you were rebirthed? Remember that old story about that relationship? Are you sure? How are you going to take action now? Are you going to, and let yourself, if you get triggered, if you do something that like maybe your highest and best self wouldn't want to do, it's okay. This is a very intense full moon, and we're coming off of the eclipse, right? The eclipse in Aries, which was this whole fresh start for ourselves that we're talking about. This full moon's going to illuminate where there's still work to be done, especially when it comes to this relationship sector. Not just romantic, but like anyone.
Okay. Is that a Chiron symptom?
Yeah, Chiron, the conjunction to Chiron really essentially is going to give us this moment of, oh, remember that wound? Oh,
okay.
Remember that feeling like you can't be yourself? So that's going to get highlighted, and Chiron can be a trigger. And also, you guys, this could also be this moment where you help someone else. Chiron is the healer. It's the wounded healer. It's like the places that hurt in us end up being our greatest gifts. And so this could mean that you absolutely choose to help your family, help your friend. And even for those, it might not be that you're super triggered and take temper tantrum action against yourself or others. It could be that you act differently now. You're like, oh my gosh, that would have sent me in a spiral. I would have been frozen for weeks. And look at me, I chose differently. It could absolutely be that too.
Okay.
Or maybe a slice of both. You know what I mean?
That's good. See, this is what I always say about you being the weather forecaster. It's a day, you just mark it on your calendar, the 13th, just to be aware of what bubbles up for you. Duly noted.
And the days leading up to it too, right? As we move into a full moon, we start to feel it, and then it peaks and something's illuminated so that we can see it. And then we start to integrate as we go towards the new moon. It's these cycles, right? They're not like one day events. They're like these flow states. So
we're always loving to give tips to people about what they can do. Is that one where you put affirmations or put things that you want to release on a piece of paper and burn them? Or is that when you put out your moon water? Is that when you, I don't know, recharge your crystals? What are good things to do?
Yeah.
That time.
If you were to put your crystals or water in the moon's energy, you would be asking for healing. You'd be asking for a power up. Okay. So if you want that kind of energy, absolutely do it.
Okay.
If you want to call in new relationships, do it. It would be a great new moon to really see yourself and be like, good job. Like, man, you really have changed. You've really been observing. You've really learned this lesson. Or good job, human. Like, you got triggered, but look, you're like aware of it. Okay. So having a lot of grace with this one is very helpful. And also just let it illuminate where you're out of alignment in relationship, because that's what it's going to do. It's going to be like, look, you're still people pleasing, or that's not really a yes, or that person's still in your life and it's not in alignment with your new self. So that's what's going to happen. I would just say, yes, it's a very powerful full moon to do work, even like the affirmations of I am. Like, who are you in relationship? What kind of relationships do you want? What do you want to release about what's actually how you're acting, but it's not authentic?
All right.
Libra is all about balance. So this is like a moment to see where the scales are tipped.
Gotcha. Okay. And then we have Taurus season beginning April
Yeah.
19th,
We
which is
have Taurus season the 19th. And just before that, actually, Mars moves into Leo.
okay.
And Mars has been in Cancer for so long because it's been retrograding. And this is just such a nice, like we are all going to feel this from Mars is like our action and our drive, where we're driven, our masculine. He's been in Cancer for so long. So we've all been like working on our houses and feeling our feelings and redynamicing our family relationships and whatever you going into your ancestry. Like we've been doing it for so long. Usually it's 6 weeks. It's been 6 months of this.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so him moving into Leo is going to be like this like very playful breath of fresh air into the fire. Much more forward moving, much more creative, much more playful. And I'm not saying Cancer is bad and Leo is good. I'm just saying we've been diving into our hermit for so long and cocooning for so long. This is going to feel so good.
What's the date for that? Mars into Leo?
That's the 18th of April,
Okay.
just before Taurus season starts.
Love that. Okay,
Yeah.
good. All
Yeah.
right.
And then Taurus season starts on the 19th, which is essentially us moving from the fire of Aries, which Aries season's invitation is to start new things. So if you guys have been feeling inspired to start a new business or do this or do that, this is why Aries is brave enough to be like, we don't need to research everything. Let's just go. Let's just do it. And in Taurus season, that's where we start to get into the nitty gritty and we work through what we've started. And also, side note, let yourself, some things that you started don't have to be finished. Aries is so excited to just strategize the new thing, right?
Mm.
So always permission with Aries to be like, you don't have to actually water that seed. It was cool for a minute.
I want to be a painter. No, never mind.
Nah, I'm over it.
That's another thing that people need to hear. People like me, right? The perfectionists, the always feeling, oh gosh, I started that, I have to finish. Thank you for that. Because then you can really lean into that Mars and Leo feeling of just having fun and enjoying it in the moment.
Totally. Yeah. And Taurus season really offers us this moment to get really into our senses, our sensual nature. So, such a good time to be in nature, to make your house beautiful, to have the piece of chocolate, to like really indulge in the human experience. Taurus is the best at it because they're the most material, that archetype. And so we all get into the material way of thinking. So that means too, like great time to look at your finances, great time to feel checking on how you're feeling safe and secure, right? Checking in on your physical things around your house and your stuff and just money in general.
All right. Got that.
My favorite season, I know this is probably because I'm a tourist, but also in Michigan where I live, it's lime green season. It's like where the trees are lime green. That like feeling where they're like little fireworks everywhere in the spring. It's just
Oh,
so that feels like Taurus to me. It's like the green moss and everything's just like coming alive. So spend a lot of time outside in nature because she's extra healing during that season.
okay.
And the last thing that we have is the new moon in Taurus on the 27th. This one's at 7 degrees. This one is super spicy.
God. Spicy in what way, Stevie?
That's what tattoo artists say, right? When something hurts. The full moon in Libra is spicy. Let's just say that because it's Mars and
Okay.
Chiron. The new moon in Taurus is also Mars and Pluto, and they're squares. So like the sun and moon are in Taurus, and then it's squaring Mars and squaring Pluto. So there's this like battle in the boxing ring with these planets, which means it means alchemy. It means transformation. It means you're probably going to feel some stuff real physically, and you're going to need to shed a layer. It might mean that you don't feel safe for a moment, and you got to figure out a way to feel safe again in your body. Mars opposite Pluto, and then the new moon highlighting. The thing is about this energy is we're going to be feeling this the second half of April is Mars opposite Pluto. We've had it before twice already. I believe it was September and December or January. I can't remember exactly. This is just very triggering, you guys. It's like Mars is the trigger planet to tell you got to take different action. And you just feel it so viscerally. Anger, rage, physical. And Pluto says you have to go to your soul root and let something go. Pluto's power. He's our soul, like why we came here at a soul level. He's so tied to like our lessons we're learning in the shadow sense, right? Bring you to your knees. So this opposition is probably going to show up externally and internally in a way where you need to feel something deeply or take different action to transform, to rebirth yourself into something new. So it might feel painful. There is an asterisk though. The ruler of the full moon is conjunct Saturn and the North Node in Mercury. And so this frequency really asks us to have compassion, have a lot of compassion for ourselves, even when it's hard. Feel our feelings. Like our soul came here for the whole gambit of human emotion. And I'm not saying this is going to be like the worst new moon ever. I'm just saying there's something about it that's going to ask you. It's going to ask you at a soul level to shed that layer.
Okay. And again, for people watching or listening, it can come a little sooner, come a little later.
Yeah.
It can last a bit. It's not going to be just on that one day.
Definitely.
Okay. And I think, again, just knowing that will be the energy of the end of the month is helpful because as we're going through the month, we're feeling the feels with relationships and all the things that are brought about by the other astrological things that are going on. If you do journal or if you are meditating, taking note of how you are feeling internally, it can prepare you for those moments so that when they do come and they do feel uncomfortable, at least you've done some of that inner work to identify what some of those things may be that you need to release or may be triggering you. So that's, in a way, it's helpful to know to do that work ahead of time.
Yeah, totally. And I think the Taurus energy too, one of the best ways to work through this intensity is to go sit on the grass, go listen to music, go get into your sensual nature, go have a really nourishing meal. It used that energy to really calm your body, like tap on it. It's so physical with Taurus.
Okay. And it's also your birthday month. It's Robin's birthday month. It's my daughter's birthday month. So it's a good time to have a little bit of fun too.
Yeah, for sure. I know that was a lot, you guys.
It was a lot. No, we're here to grow. And the hardest part is like feeling these feels and not knowing why. At least we got a little bit of the why.
And it's all temporary, right? Once we get to May, there is some different energy going to come in. There's a lot more forward momentum. April's kind of integrating, whoa, what just happened? How do I ground down again?
The quote of the video is, integrating the whoa, what happened? All right. Thank you for giving us this. I have jotted these dates down. I am prepared and I can't wait to have you back and talk about May too. And if anybody is wanting to share, please do with how you've been feeling as you're going into these April transits and what areas of life it's affecting. We would love for you to reach out and share that with us because this is your place to do it. It's your community. So thank you, Stevie. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And Stevie, for people who are listening or watching who may want to work with you, how do they find you?
So you can go to steviecalista.com, CALISTA.com, or Farmhouse Moon on Instagram. And that's where I do most of my setting up my offers and things like that. And you can sign up for my newsletter, which I go deeper into everything in my newsletter every week. And you can get the offers that I have there as well.
It's so helpful. I love it. Look forward to it. And it's beautiful. All right. Thanks, Stevie.